Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Thank you for joining us in holiness and this holy purpose to come together to see what's true and celebrate infinite light of being. And then just have the fireside chat with Jesus. Oh, that little ping, little submarine ping that comes up every now and then on this computer. We don't know what does it, but we know it's from Jesus reminding us time to go deeper to see what's true. So thank you, Jesus. And we'll start with the light of infinite. Start with what we are, divine being. Why would we start anywhere else? And then there's an idea of limitation. And that's all we're here to see, that it's an idea arising infinite love, and then a play in consciousness to say, oh, I'm not that. And then it tacks on all the becauses and the if-thens. I'm not light because. I'm not light. I'll be light when. I'll be light if. I'll be peaceful if. When. Then. And a lot of times it's if they do this, she does that. See, it's all that low play to say, okay, no light for me. That's what a me is. No light for me. That's how it obscures consciousness, is the smoke screen. It's the veil. Because we want to play like we don't know who we are, to have one big fat doubt thought. It's just one big one. But it's a big assumption, and it's not bigger than the light. You can ask the light, is this more powerful than infinite light? No. Do I like to pretend like it's more powerful? Then everybody laughs, because when you start having these light circles and going through chapter 20, we see it's like, holy smokes, he's right, really right. It's like, Jesus, you're so right. I don't want to have anything whatsoever to do with the light. I want to kill it. And then my brother's the symbol of wanting to just get rid of them. Just get that mighty companion the heck out of here. I'd be happy if I could get rid of them people out there. I'll kill them all with the coronavirus. That's what conscious. just wipe out the world's population. Let's get something big to do it, you know. Well, they're all laughing at you. No, it's an opportunity. It's such an opportunity to see any ideas that something's contagious, you know, that a virus actually does something, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and triple effect. No wonder we can't breathe. Like I said in the last paragraph, in a new covenant, who with this many beliefs, desires, can ever rest in peace? Well, that's the whole thing. Until we see, okay, you're right, Jesus, about 100,000 times before the cock crows. You know, I love that little joke that came. I'm asking Jesus if that's from him. How many Course in Miracles students does it take to wake up to be saved? One, but they really have to want to be saved. They have to be willing to be only one. That's the whole Course in Miracles done. Until we see, no, you're right, Jesus. I don't want to have anything to do with that light. So that's what we'll look at today. We'll start with the light because we're light beings. And not let our minds drift into temptation. The temptation to daydream, to plan a future, to complain about the past, anything other than light. You know, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. You know, there you go. We'll just tolerate the tiniest little peak in there. See, there's something here infinite. It's like Muji says, You don't know what you found. Because you sit in satsang and you'll just go, wow, yeah, he'll ask questions. You know, the invitation's really beautiful. You can look it up on, yes, Jesus said that's a great place. It's just seeing what the holy instant is. It's very simple. Like my 7-year-old niece, what do you see when you look at light? All is forgiven. That's the whole course. All is forgiven in the light. So you can inquire in the light. Okay, in the light of divine being, does it move or change? Is it moving? So we could all answer that. Is it moving? Just ask. Does it move? No. Does it have a beginning or end? Does infinite light have a beginning or an end? So that inquiry is helpful for seeing. Wait a minute. Who's answering that question? Who's answering that question? Who's answering that there's something here that doesn't change? What's answering that? Not the ego's not going to, have a celebration party over that recognition. And again, you see that in satsang as well. It was so great. I was peaceful. I could see that there's light, there's nothing here. And then is the future. I could see is the past. I am is what is now. This. I am this. I am that. There's no words for it. So now we have the contrast between, there is something that's here. I'm not going to call it me yet. That's the whole play of consciousness, to say the light's not us. Okay. And that's the veil. We talk about the veil. The veil is the desire not to see that the light's here. Not to admit that there's only light. That's the veil. So honesty of God is the light here, infinite light of being. Now, at first, that can even seem obscure because of the desire to have it obscured. I don't see what are they pointing to? That was, even though I said this, he sent me to the headless way and I'm pointing. I must have pointed all my. Now look back, wait, there's no object looking out of those eyes. There's an idea that there's an object, but what if there's no object? The headless one. Okay, so that's the little start. So you start with light, the holy instant, the recognition that infinite is here. Is that light shared by everyone? Is it shared? So, okay, look in there. All right, it's shared. Everyone has this. Now the real work begins. As you start to see, as you stay as that light, as you just stay as that, Muji calls it marination, the revelatory experience comes. Revelation that, wait a minute, that's infinite. Revelation may come, that's why, wait a minute, that's all there is light. There's nothing else. Nothing else is real. Nothing is real. Is the light peaceful? Let me just check in. It's got all the qualities that beings talk about. Awakening, it's here. All those qualities are already here because that's us. Okay, so that's step one. Admit that light is here. Even if you can't say, oh, that's me. The light's just here. Has the light ever been anywhere else? Honesty of God. Can you find that the light was anywhere else but here? Has it ever not been here? Infinite light. Okay. No, it's always here. And if I go down the street, I can look again and the light's here. All right. So then the ego would say, well, why then? There's no why. There's just what is light. Light doesn't ask why. It just is. So we have the light, admit, okay, there's light here, even if I can't admit it's me. And then admit that I'm trying to desire it, to desire something other than that. I'm trying to kill it with every bit of dreaming. I can dream a dream. Jesus, am I trying to kill this light with a dream? And here is answer. We just contemplate that. The light and joy and peace abide in me. So that's what, so there's light. And it's like, well, how come if it light, peace, and joy abides in me, how come I'm not feeling that now? Because the decision within consciousness not to be that. I mean, it's such a cover over to see that light, joy, and peace is you. That's all that is. Light, joy, peace. There's no extras. Jesus. The light doesn't have any extras in there. The ego is going to dream extra. Dream more, dream less. So then let's just ask Jesus to look. Okay, Jesus. Light and joy and peace abides in me. Do I have a desire to not experience that? And you can then hear the okay, well, can I ask for a miracle? And then we just ask him, okay, I'd like a change in perception for not perceiving that light, joy, and peace abide in me. So he doesn't beat you up for not admitting it. See, there's no guilt in admitting it. There's just, you're right, Jesus. I'm not experiencing light, joy, and peace that abides in me. I must not want it. And then he starts to show you when you go down in the catacombs that we don't want it whatsoever. There's no value in it. In the play of consciousness is to not value what we already are. Light, joy, and peace. You think you are the home of evil. Okay, we might as well just... Everybody here starts laughing. Because we just start asking Jesus and we can laugh when you hear it from him. Because that's love. Then it's admitting it. Before we were hiding from it. Now we can just go, all right, Jesus, give it to me. Go ahead. And okay. Jesus, is there any belief below my level of awareness that I am the home of evil? Okay, I'm willing to see it directly and ask for a miracle, change in a perception that I can be home to evil. Do I relish being home to evil? I ask him if we relish that. Okay. And do I relish being home to darkness and sin? All those little twitches that come up. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if a bomb goes off outside and you go like that is a denial of divinity. You can ask him, Jesus, is that a denial? Because it's cause and effect. It's the belief that something out there causes a response. I just said, can I say that? So I think that, isn't that the ice cream truck? I think that that the here in the ice cream truck makes you want to run out and get some. He said I could say I'm gonna go get an ice cream. I can't control myself. I got to have one. Or hearing the ice cream. You see the trick in consciousness? Hearing the ice cream truck and all of a sudden you can taste the ice cream. See how that creates a future and anticipation that denies all the light that's here now? It's not bad, you know, it's not, the light's still here. The light's just, light's the light. Love is just is. So the love is, and then there's the big fat no to what, there's a big fat investment in what isn't. Okay, so let's just see where else we could be investing in it. You think, well, we can ask Jesus. So if I'm experiencing evil, darkness, and sin, is that because I desire it? You can hear, okay. Can you help me with that? And you're just going to hear that loving yes. It's all you're going to hear is, yes, I'm here to help you. That's all we're here to do in the light circles, is just gently listen. All right, Jesus, you're right again. Oh, here you go. You think if anyone could see the truth about you, he would be repelled, recoiling from you as if from a poisonous snake. Well, we might as well check in on that to see if there's any remnants. Okay. Okay, Jesus, do I believe that if someone were to see the truth in me, he would be repelled and recoil like I'm a poisonous snake? Might as well know. Because that means we're repelled from ourselves. See, that's the play. We think it's about someone else being repelled, but it's so consciousness can play as though being repelled from something is possible. Now, how about that trick? You can ask Jesus, is that a desired experience? Jesus, do I have a desired experience that if I try and tell someone the truth about me, they're going to look like they're pulling back from a poisonous snake? You can see the head go and just see if that desire is there, that desired experience. That's why we just look at desires, to see the desire to have, because here's the trick of it. As soon as there's anyone out there, we pulled into the two parking space of duality. There's no one out there. Ask the light. We do the light test. Anyone out there? No. Okay. You think if what is true about you were revealed to you, you would be struck with horror so intense that you would rush to death by your own hand, living on after seeing this being impossible. Okay, now it's really time to look, because if he's saying it in this book, you can count on it. I mean, this is the only thing you can take to the bank. That's the experience here. It's the only thing I can take to the bank, that what he's saying in this book, I look at it immediately. That's the power. Because when we have the fireside chat, every line, if he's saying this, I'm checking in with him for sure. See if there's any remnants in there. Okay. You think if what is true about you were revealed to you, you would be struck with horror so intense that you would rush to death. That's the Jesus. Okay. Just show me. Do I think what is true? If the truth were revealed to me, I'd be struck with horror. You just turn into it. Let the horror come. See if it changes the light. Okay, let's just sit here in horror and see if anything happens. See, we're so busy avoiding those feelings of horror that we like to feel, like the roller coaster ride of consciousness. Let's just see Jesus, when we really look at horror, the horror movie of consciousness, let's just see if we relish horror. Okay, Jesus, do I relish an experience of horror? Being horrified? Do I just like love it and want to eat it with a spoon? When he shows you that, it's helpful. I just love it. You know, you just find that little, oh man, I want that energy. So intense that you would rush to death by your own hand. And that comes up. You can ask any of the beings to come here. You do. It's like and when you're first in that spiritual journey and start looking, you see all the anger, the rage. You see that you want to kill everything. You want to kill your brother. You know, sometimes you look around going, I'm surprised anybody's still alive at this point. You can hear them. See, because there's no place to go sideways here, you know. If you really, want to see if everything Jesus is true, and you ask for it, he'll send you into situations where there's no place else to go but up. And the ego is gonna is gonna try to splay like the dogs out on the grass. When you try to take them inside and they don't want to go, their little legs go, they go flat, like they become like one big door stopper. Jesus, do I like playing like the door stopper of consciousness? He's going to tell you, yes, you do. But it's okay. We just look and see where we want to splay in the grass. Because again, it's like the little fish swimming in the ocean. Can't find the water. Excuse me. I just, and everybody's telling them, the water's, you're in it. No, I can't possibly be. I can't be the love. Okay. Living on after seeing this being impossible. These are beliefs so firmly fixed that it's difficult to help you see they are based on nothing. That's what's happening. He knows that's what gets us to go splay out in the grass like I'm feeling resistance like this. I mean, we have to laugh at it. I mean, not to laugh at a brother, just see it in ourselves. See how consciousness plays. We're not judging it because that's how consciousness plays. It's innocence. Like the dogs, they're innocent. They like that little green grass, the little green grass out there. But Jesus is saying you're settling from grass over the kingdom of heaven. You're insisting that the grass is your salvation. So that's why they persist. These things persist until we go down in the basement with Jesus. It sounds really bad going into the basement because it's made to. We can ask him, Jesus, is there a desire to feel that if I saw the truth of who I am, the horror would be intense? Do I relish that? You just start laughing your head. Really, when you start seeing, and he goes, yep. And okay. I do relish that. I do relish horror. I love the horror story, don't I, Jesus? It's the story of a me that's going to die. That's already dead because it's dreaming death rather than seeing that your life itself, infinite light. We're this. Okay, so so now we can see if it's revealed. Okay, so let's just have a revelatory experience. Jesus, is the light here? Is infinite light here? And did it strike you dead when you saw when you see light? Is it striking you dead? Is it just light? It's not doing, it's benevolent. It's completely benevolent. It's identity. But the play in consciousness is to pretend like the light's coming to get us. Donna. We're hunting for all the reasons why the light's going to blow us up or kill us. Now, we have to see that's not true by direct looking. These are beliefs so firmly fixed that it's difficult to help you see that they are based on nothing. And that's a beautiful reflection. Linda and Mona working together, chapter 20, and Jesus takes us down there and we look down there and there's nothing down there. That's all he's trying to show us. No, I'm not looking. I'm going to splay out on the grass for a while without looking to see the light's already here. And there's nothing under this. That you have made mistakes is obvious. That you have sought salvation in strange ways, have been deceived, deceiving and afraid of foolish fantasies and savage dreams, and have bowed down to idols made of dust. All this is true by what you now believe. And just ask Jesus, am I relishing all of that? You start laughing when he tells you yes, because you know that's the way out. And we can see that's the way out. That's the honesty of God. Light, I really want something other than light, Jesus. I really, really do. And then admit, and we're going to need his help to see through it. As Irene was saying, he does the heavy lifting. If we have willingness to clear these things, to one, pinpoint them, like that story I told the other day, which we didn't have in Spanish, so I'll tell it again, of this company that had this really important piece of equipment. Really, the whole company operated on this thing, and it broke down, and every engineer in the company. They're flying them in from all over the world to come in. They're going to fix that piece of equipment. And none of them could fix it. And then so finally, the company broke down and hires a consultant. And the consultant comes in, he walks over to the machine, he turns a screwdriver, chuk, 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 there goes the machine working. And he walks out and he hands him a bill for $10,000. And it was like, what happened? How come this is 10,000? Can you adjust this bill at all? So he takes the bill back. How could it be worth this amount? So he takes the bill back and he made 2 line items on it. The first one, $1, turning the screw. Because they're going, well, you just turned a screw. $1. That's the value. Knowing which screw to turn, $9,999. Jesus knows which screw to turn. That saves time and it has a high value and it's free. So that's why we ask him which miracles out of all this book. We look in here, okay, which miracles is most helpful for healing the mind right now? And he knows. This all is true by what you now believe. Today we question this, not from the point of view of what you think, but from a very different reference point, from which such idle thoughts are meaningless. Infinite light. The light of divine being, the one light. Let there be light. These thoughts are not according to God's will. We can ask, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, is a single thought of God's will. Does the light have any thoughts in there? So again, he just kept saying, I've got to wean you from thought. And I can see it. I just wanted thought, every fiber. Want to play with thoughts, little tinker toy thoughts. I want to build other thoughts. I want to build whole scenarios. And soon he teaches you how your whole world blows out of that. These weird beliefs he does not share with you. This is enough to prove that they are wrong, but you do not perceive that this is so. These weird beliefs. Why would you not be overjoyed to be assured that all the evil that you think you did was never done? And that all your sins are nothing, that you are as pure and holy as you were created, and that light and joy and peace abide in you? It's a wonderful question. But we have to have him tell us. That's what's become obvious here. It's a good question. Why would you not be overjoyed to be assured that all the evil? No, instead we go splay out on the grass like the dog. No, I don't want to look. I don't want to see. That's resistance. All this resistance is coming. Resistance is just resistance to seeing that it's nothing with Jesus. That's all. It's hilarious. We don't see it until he shows it to us. At least for here, I'm going well on this spiritual journey. And then chapter 20. Oh my gosh, yes. And that belief and that desire and that one too, and this one and that one and this one and that one. To see all the reasons why I didn't want to be overjoyed. To be sure that all the evil you think was done. That you are as pure and holy as you created, and that light and joy and peace abide in you. Your image of yourself cannot withstand the will of God. Jesus, that's a key. Am I willing to admit that my image of myself cannot withstand the will of God? I'm saying, Jesus, but we're pretending really hard like we think it can. He says, yes. So we just ask him, Jesus, I'm really trying to pretend very hard that my image of myself can withstand the will of God. That's the one up. You'll feel that little, gotcha, I gotcha. The little relishing of, I gotcha, God, I can one up you. on this gig. I didn't even know what usurping the power of God really meant. And like I said, until Jesus brings it right here and goes, holy smokes, I really do usurp the power of God, like more than anything. Like you see that energy. Oh my gosh. You think that it is death, but it is life. You think you are destroyed, but you are saved. That's the flip. The ego, in order to survive, it has to play like we're going to be blown up if we look in the light. And you'll start seeing that is so true. So he just asked Jesus, okay, show me if I think I'm going to be destroyed looking at the light from the light's perspective. So here's a little, well, this was very helpful. Jesus showed me that if you look as the light, you're never afraid. If you look at the light, you're going to scream. You're going to feel terror because that's how it works. The ego comes out here. The play of consciousness is to look at the light and go, I'm going to be vanquished. I'm going to be annihilated. I'm going to be killed. But if you sit as the light, you just kind of notice, wait a minute, nothing's happening. That's right-minded, wrong-mindedness right there. Stay as the light. Oh, peaceful. All your sins are nothing. You think that this is death to look, but it is life. That's all resistance is. All pain is suffering. The only failure is failure to look. Because you can't fail at being light. You're already light. It's like too late. That's what the script is written means you're light. It cannot be overridden, what God has made. Infinite light of being. You know, we want to write these little scripts and plays through the play of consciousness. You can say, and Jesus says, as I said last night about it, the script seems to arise, but it's arising out of every subconscious beliefs, and it's in a dream. The script is the dream, is a dream. You can ask, but it's good to have that fireside chat with them so that we're looking at his interpretation. The whole challenge is he keeps saying about the Course now. The Course is fine. It's the interpretive function of consciousness that gets hold and it wants to intellectualize it and have a lot of discussions on it rather than look with him. You know, he's given for us to come in, for us to hear him and him explain it. What do we need that for? Discussion for when we have to go to Jesus and he's going to tell us everything. So when you look from the perspective of infinite light, the time being simultaneous, just, it makes sense. It can't make sense to a sense of personal identity that believes in linearity, that there's time. The script is written won't be understood except as the light, and the light script's written, done already. You are infinite light. So peace is here now, infinite light here now. And then we just look, okay, what little twitch of an idea is arising to try and dump the idea of peace out of mind, try to eject it. The self you made is not the Son of God. Therefore, this self does not exist at all. So when we're splaying out on the grass, you can ask Jesus, Jesus, when I'm like the dog out on the grass going, I feel resistance. Am I resisting what does not exist at all? Resisting trying to keep what does not exist at all alive. You can hear him, yep. When I'm angry, I'm trying to keep what does not exist alive. You can hear him, yeah, it's dreaming, it's a trance. Anger is a trance. All twitches are trances. I'm asking him. He says, yeah, it's all part of the dream. But see, that can be the wake up alarm. Ding. When you feel a twitch, ding, time to wake up. Instead of, I don't want to look at that, and it'll go back subconscious snooze zone. And anything it seems to do or think means nothing. It is neither good or bad. It is unreal and nothing more than that. Boy, he's really honing in and not making anything real. See, when you're arguing with the brother over something, you're making it real. You just, in the play of consciousness. When you tell your brother he's wrong, you just made it real. That's deep to really look at that. I appreciate Jesus reminding me about that. Anything that your brother does, if you argue with it, you just made it real. Made yourself feel like an object. So it's fallen asleep, actually. Just like the argument. That's hilarious. So let me see if I can remember what that is. Somebody sent to me. Oh yeah, a couple of monks are sitting there meditating, looking over at the other monk and going, look at that self-satisfied monk. He thinks he's awakened kind of thing. They're looking over at that monk. I have to send that one. It's pretty funny. Look at that awakened grin on his face. That's how consciousness plays. It's still judgment. It's still judgment to see your brother is awake or not awake. It's self-judgment. You can ask Jesus that one. Because love is just here. It's complete. It actually doesn't know awake or not awake. See, it just is. That's why we called, that word came in, instead of enlightenment, it's cease to denyment. And then there's clarity. See, enlightenment sounds like something's going to happen to you. Cease to denyment is seeing nothing ever happen to you. Or nothing's ever happened. It does not battle with the Son of God. It does not hurt him nor attack his peace. It does not change creation nor reduce eternal sinlessness to sin and love to hate. What power can this self you made possess when it would contradict the will of God? I love that. The will of God, perfect happiness, supreme happiness. I just saw all of a sudden, like I saw that, even though you read the course, but when the mind just locks down on that, and you hang out your supreme happiness or bus shingle, is like hashtag supreme happiness. That is it. To take Jesus unequivocally at his word. To trust in him at that level is peace. If he says it, you can take it to the bank more than anything else in life itself. And I love that too. It just still brings me to my knees thinking about the little video that Dyer made. I think it was a collaboration. It's just so beautiful, but she captured that little thing where he said, the only thing you can be sure of in this world, the only thing is that I'm here to lead you out of it. Like, whoa. Rest in me. And it's really beautiful because when we have these joining sessions and the joining and light sessions and we come together to listen to Jesus, that's like the first thing he tells everyone, especially the beings that say, I really don't think I can hear Jesus. And then the next, oh my God, like, is this the best? And the next second they'll be listening to him and he'll say, I'm here for you. All's well. He gives them a cuddle right away. First, that's all he's come to tell us. All is well. I have this. I have you. I have you. I called you. You're answering the call. I've got you. Because he knows who we are. He's the one who remembers. We're busy trying to forget what we are. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Over and over, this must be repeated until it is accepted. See, that's the hilarious part. I could see that in the play of consciousness. Jesus, when is this awakening stuff going to be over? When do I not have to look anymore? We have to find out which voice is saying that. The wrong mind gets involved in that. It just has to be accepted. See that you're light, honesty of God, admit you're denying light, accept the miracle, the correction, accept the correction to see that it never happened. It is true, your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Nothing can touch it or change what God created as eternal. The self you made, evil and full of sin, is meaningless. Okay, Jesus, it feels good to get that lesson on. Okay, let's look and see if there are any doubt thoughts in there, and he'll show them to us if we ask him. I love that. I'm so grateful to Jesus for that. Okay, I'm checking in. Jesus, is there any belief that the evil and sin self I made has meaning? If he says, yes, there's meaning, just ask him to show it to you. It's just a conversation. Okay, Jesus, I need to see that because obviously I think I'm full of sin. You know, when you say you're full of it, it's a desire to experience sin. Ask him, Jesus, do I desire an experience of being full of evil and full of sin? To make God wrong. I really relish that. And then you go until he says no. You just keep clearing it through miracles. He shows you where you need them. You clear them out. And they just rest in as God, you know, God's holy son. Because we're not kind of trying to pop up like a cork into hell, you know. Light just rests as it is. And the ego is like a little cork. It's popping up all the time, trying to find a problem. Bing, bing, bing. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God, and light and joy of peace abide in you. That feels good. Can you show me that, Jesus? And you just get a love cuddle. See that it's infinite. That's what he's saying to me. See that that love is not the kind of love you think it is. It can't be thought. This is love beyond love thought. This is what is. Infinite. Salvation requires the acceptance of but one thought. You are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. Whatever evil you may think you did, you are as God created you. And this is, again, I'm asking about that. Oh, so much love in this. You know, this is why this new means is given by him of this direct looking, because he knows that we believe we did evil, but if we look with him, it bypasses all the guilt. If we look directly at the relishing of the wanting to say no. If we stay there, we're not up in the, we come up in consciousness to all the pain and suffering. It just goes below it. We see how we want it. And as that energy releases into by the miracle, it just releases into the light of truth. Whatever evil you think you may think you did, you are as God created you. Jesus, am I willing to see I'm as God created me? Do I still want to deny that I am? Anywhere, any little squeaks in there, the tiniest little squeak? See, because the tiniest little squeak is not partial. It's always full denial. It's either light or it's all light. You know, there just isn't anything other than light. Even a little squeak. We talked about this before. The squeak, when I say squeak, any twitch, the peace is just peace. The light's not impacted by anything. Under a twitch, it's like an iceberg. It seems like, oh, that's not important, you know, if whatever the little contraction is. But if you look under it, it's got rage and, you know, it's got a whole big old block of no to God. So we need him to show us the iceberg down there, to go down and see where we believe all that stuff down in the catacombs is the way to find heaven. That's when you really, for chapter 20, when you're ready to really start listening. At first, it's going to be like, okay, Jesus, I really want this. Okay, I admit it. Okay, it'll be light like that. I'm asking if it's okay to talk. Then you'll start to notice it'll get deeper. Those energies are really well protected in the catacombs. And then he'll bring you through a couple of rounds. Then you'll be willing to start, okay, go ahead, Jesus, show it to me. Bring me all the way to the death wish. How I think that I'm wanting to experience death. Then you can ask him, okay, go ahead and show me how I believe this is my way to get heaven. That's very illuminating. That's the flip when we see how these desires are the way in the play of consciousness. It hides that we believe heaven is in these desires. Then then the clearing can begin. Because there'll be no doubt that it's desired experience, that they're unreal, that he's only here to help. And then we're asking for his help. Help me, help me, help me all the time. Then true willingness can really take hold. There's going to be no guarded places in the mind, guarded from him coming in and showing where the miscreation is. That's another reason why chapter 20 is so great, because it's like this densely packed truth of where light is denied, just right there in concentrated form. It's unsparing. For those that want the fast method, it doesn't spare anything. Because when you go down to the catacombs with Jesus, you're going with the one who knows. Now, the ego would make that a bad thing. It's going to try to avoid it. But you'll see really quickly, and you'll hear the other beings talk about it. We're going to put that link up soon for the session we had this week with a little description. And so you can see how helpful this deep looking is with Jesus. Creation, whatever mistakes you made, the truth about you is unchanged. So we do the light test. Is the light changed by anything that we've done? Creation is eternal and unalterable. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. You are and will forever be exactly as you were created. Jesus, do I believe that I'm exactly as I was created? Okay, if there's any twitch on that, I just say, okay, show me the desire for an experience not to be as I'm created, to feel like I'm not as I've been created. Can I have a miracle? To release that perception, the false perception that I am not as God created me. It's a false perception. And so I need a miracle. We call this yawning it out, because that's what happens when you start looking with Jesus on these desires. Everybody just starts, when the release, you just yawn out that deep tension. You can start to actually relax. We're not walking around like this, with a Klingon here. The Klingon look. God's going to get me, look. The terror, you start to see the reflections of terror in the eyes. Not to judge it, just to see where the fear is, the guardedness, the tension. Going around like this, looking over our shoulder. I got to wash my hands. The coronavirus is going to get me stuff. We don't judge it if it appears in consciousness. We just don't make it real. Then we're free. Creation is internal and unalterable. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. You are and will forever be exactly as you were created. Light and joy and peace abide in you because God put them there. Our longer exercise periods today, in our longer periods, which would be most profitable if done for first 5 minutes of every waking hour. Begin by stating the truth about your creation. Light and joy and peace abide in me. My sinlessness is guaranteed by God. So we can just hear Jesus. Jesus is my sinlessness guaranteed by God. So we can start to hear that voice. And just notice that voice, the voice that says, yes, it's guaranteed by God. And then you can discern when it's like, no, you're not. No, that voice versus yes, the simple voice, the confirmatory voice, the comforting voice. Then put away your foolish self-images and spend the rest of the practice period in trying to experience what God has given you in place of what you decreed. Practical experience. Be only that, for that is what you are. Be only love, for that is what you are. You are what God created or what you made. That one self is true, the other is not there. Try to experience the unity of your one self, the light of divine being. Try to appreciate its holiness and love from which it was created. Try not to interfere with the self which God created as you by hiding its majesty behind the tiny idols of evil and sinfulness you have made to replace it. Let it come into its own. Here you are. This is you. And light and joy and peace abide in you because this is so. You may not be willing or even able to use the first 5 minutes of each hour for these exercises. Try, however, to do so when you can. At least remember to repeat these thoughts each hour. Light and joy and peace abide in me. My sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Then try to devote at least a minute or so to closing your eyes and realizing that this is a statement of truth about you. If a situation arises that seems to be disturbing, quickly dispel the illusion of fear by repeating these thoughts again. It's a beautiful reminder of how powerful these thoughts given by Jesus are, the thoughts of God. Should you be tempted to become angry with someone, tell them silently, light and joy and peace abide in you. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. You can do much for the world's salvation today. You can do much today to bring you closer to the part in salvation that God has assigned to you. And you can do much today to bring the conviction to your mind that the idea for the day is true indeed. Thank you, Jesus. Holy Son of God, rest in peace now. So with that, we're going to ask Lori if she would kindly come sing us a song of joy, so we can sing along in our hearts.
The lyrics are on the Facebook Messenger group. This is called Hummingbirds.
you, love. We love you. Send love.